The churro, brought to the Western world nearly 500 years ago by the Spanish conquistador Hernando Cortez, today it is a cinnamon and sugar snack served at county fairs across the country, allowing fans to enjoy demolition derbies and 70s has-been rock concerts. An accessory to good family fun, or is it? Many believe that churro has a darker side. Intellectuals continue to debate whether this cylinder-shaped pastry is an instrument of good, or as some suggest, Satan's cinnamon-encrusted prosthetic arm. Although it is coated in cinnamon and sugar, the churro is an object that is wrapped in mystery. I'm Barry McAdoo, and tonight we'll investigate the tumultuous history of this storied and enigmatic dessert, where after years of mob warfare and rioting, it deposed a corrupt Mexican governor, leading to glorious revolution. And to Victorville, California, the birthplace of an alleged religious enlightening, where 20 years ago, a high-desert restaurateur reportedly served Jesus. That event spawned a religious cult that ultimately led to Victorville's latest miracle, the celebration of a busboy's ass. A series of barbarous gangland slayings initially puzzled police investigators, until they stumbled on a trail of clues that led to an unlikely suspect. From his opulent Mexican rancho, a failed minor league baseball player turned governor named Julio Cesar Chavez Ravine had masterminded a sinister plan to rid locals of the churro, the cornerstone of the local economy, and make himself wealthy in the process by investing heavily in flan. Exacting a campaign of unrivaled brutality and barbarism, Chavez Ravine commissioned two childhood friends and gristled mafiosos to embark on a merciless death march through the streets of his own town.
Recuerdo muy bien, era un hermoso día. Yo estaba sentado en mi mesa, estaba leyendo mi periódico, La Opinión, cuando de pronto la puerta se abrió. Tres hombres armados con churros entraron por la puerta de enfrente. Todos estaban vestidos de negro, yo recuerdo muy bien. Uno de ellos corría y gritaba como loco, empuñalaba a todos. A muchos murieron rápidamente, pero también torturaron a muchos. Un pobre señor estaba sentado en la mesa y uno de ellos lo agarró y lo torturó. Pobre señor, gritaba, por mi madre, señor, por mi madre, no me haga nada por mis hijos. Ellos no le escucharon. Lo hicieron que se quitara sus pantalones y lo hicieron que sumergiera sus testículos en café caliente. Hasta hoy, todos sus gritos los escucho en las noches y cada que veo el café o lo huelo, mis testículos se estremecen y parece que me siento desmayar.
And then there were the prostitutes and exotic dancers. This prostitute claims to have regularly entertained Gordito's sketch in Ravine. Fearing reprisal, she asked that we conceal her identity. She says the four of them would often end hours of debauched partying with a sadistic game of corporal cornhole. Convicted for his role in the Churro massacre, Johnny Super Chocolate Guerrero now sits in this maximum security prison in the high desert, convicted on 12 counts of first-degree murder, mayhem, and assault with a hot beverage. Speaking for the first time since his incarceration, Super Chocolate confessed that although the churro is revered by religions across the globe, it is a false prophet, offering only empty promises and poor dental hygiene.
You know, I hear people talking about the churro. It's sacred. Jesus used to eat churros. I'm in here because of churros. And now I end up playing Captain Nutbeard with some fat motherfucker in cell block 4 3-4 times a week. This ain't right, man. You know, Captain Nutbeard, you guys nuts on your chin? Hate nuts on my chin. That shit. You know what I mean?
Churros pose problems for law enforcement officers, particularly in U.S. prisons. The proliferation of churros is creating wide-scale security problems at Warden Phil McCracken's high desert facility. Correctional officers routinely seize items crafted from churros that are regularly smuggled from the prison's own cafeteria.
The big challenge that we're facing today, quite frankly, is the churro weaponry. They tried removing the churro from Briggleback and were sued by several inmates. The Justice Department mandated we put the churro back on the menu. So I want to talk a little bit about what you're going to see and look out for and hopefully not be afflicted with. First we have the Churro Top cocktail. The Churro Top cocktail, old weapon, easy to make. Materials readily available. We have an uneaten churro. We have kerosene-soaked rag or other flammable fluid-soaked rag affixed to the top. The rag is ignited, and then the Churro Top cocktail is thrown at unpopular inmates, finding its way to their eye or hole. The problem is becoming epidemic. We can't really do anything about that churro until it leaves the mess hall. By that time, it's usually been stuck in somebody's eye or the ass. For whatever reason, those are the popular targets.
Inside this high desert compound lies what many call a cult. The Cinnamon Brotherhood was founded by Henry Rios, who claims to have served Jesus at his high desert restaurant 20 years ago. After an inspiring discussion with Rios about this encounter, Lonnie Whiteshoes, a part-time telemarketer and Amway distributor, would become one of the most important figureheads in the movement, eventually becoming the caretaker of this compound. But Whiteshoes' true calling, as he later discovered, was to revolutionize the long-standing religious practice of transubstantiation.
The churro is straight from the hand of God to the people. He visited El Taco Man restaurant located at 1574 7th Street, Victorville, California, for a reason. But the night before he visited Henry, I had a vision. Jesus told me that my purpose in life was to replace those bland, tasteless communion wafers with tasty churros.
Heeding God's call, Whiteshoes began replacing communion wafers with churros at local Catholic churches during covert midnight operations. One night, after completing one of his numerous sorties, Whiteshoes was apprehended by enraged parishioners, who turned him over to authorities at the local diocese. Whiteshoes was summarily sentenced to crucifixion. Before the first nail could be driven, however, local police halted the unscheduled public torture because of permit violations. Whiteshoes recalls the day's emotions.
That was some up shit. Do you think it was because you're black? It didn't help!
Henry Rios, considered the patron saint of the Cinnamon Brotherhood and an El Taco Man day manager for 15 years, professes to have served Jesus in 1982.
Jesus walked in through the front door, no entourage, didn't pull the limo out to the back door. I'll never forget it. He was wearing like a baggy white poncho and checkered Vans. He had long curly hair and was carrying a skateboard. It kind of looked like, como se dice, Bill Walton when he played for the Trailblazers. He ordered 7 churros and a glass of wine.
Are you sure he wasn't a skater?
No, this was Jesus.
How can you be certain?
He told me he was Jesus. He tried to leave without paying, and I confronted him.
And what happened next?
He looked me straight in the eye and said, "Hey, bro, I paid for your sins. The least you can do is spot me lunch."
At this same restaurant where Henry Rios allegedly served Jesus his not-so-Last Supper 20 years ago, another miracle is reportedly taking place. In Victorville, people are traveling from miles around to celebrate a miracle in an unlikely location. A busboy's ass.
Why I have the mark of the churro? Hell, I don't know. But what I do know is that my ass brought all these people here together. I don't want to be some church statue where people travel miles around just to see me. I'm the people's miracle. I don't mind staying after work, signing a few autographs, throwing the pigskins around. It's a change from cleaning pubic hair off the urinal, throwing some sawdust on some throw-up, cleaning the grease out of the fried Eddie, or even flipping the occasional Denver omelet. That's what I do. That's what I'm here for.
Despite the appearance of what many are calling a miracle, some locals remain skeptical.
Well, it seems like the whole damn thing's a hoax to me. You know, like down there at that Studio 54 with all the UFOs and shit. You know, I looked at his ass, and I ain't a fag or nothing, but I didn't see nothing special.
Ain't no different from the next man's ass.
You know, I'm over there expecting to see some Velvet Elvis or something hanging from his ass, and I didn't see nothing at all. You know, it's the last thing you really want to see in the morning when you're eating a hot bowl of grits is some guy bending over playing Red Rover with his ass hanging out.
It's like committing 9 separate Catholic sins just by looking at it.
Hell, 10 if you want a piece.
The next time you bite into this pastry, you be the judge. Divine snack or Satan's breaded scepter. I'm Barry McAdoo. Good night.